Welcome to the Mary Mac Show, where we will be talking about your feelings, experiences, and pain following the death of a loved one. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Wherever you find yourself in this entire world, I welcome you. So how are you doing, my friend? My warrior. I certainly hope this week finds you well. This week, I'd like to talk about the gift of remembrance. And you might say, Mary, of course I'm going to remember all the people I loved and lost, especially if I'm close to a holiday or my birthday or their birthday or the anniversary of their death. Of course, I'm going to remember them. And sometimes we tend to look at how they died and all the pain that was associated with their passing. They might have had terminal cancer, and it was a long, painful process that you needed to witness. It might have been an illness that came on suddenly, and within a matter of weeks or even months, they were taken from us. It happened so suddenly, we barely got time to wrap our head around the illness that took them. It might have been a car accident, or a heart attack, a stroke, some other type of accident. Something that was so sudden we just couldn't believe it. Or something violent, like a suicide or homicide, and we still wonder how that could have happened to them. But today, just for a while, I want you to start to remember the good things about their life and the relationship that you had with them. Can you remember the trips you took together, the meals you shared with each other, the ones you cooked together, finding the perfect recipe? Can you remember the laughter you shared, the movies you watched together, or other TV shows? Did you attend classes together, read books together? What were your favorite ones? Maybe it was a ball game that you attended together, having a few beers, enjoying all the excitement of your team winning the game. Or even a concert, which was just spectacular. Perhaps you went fishing together, or hiking or camping, and being outdoors with nature, and making a fire, toasting marshmallows. It was all so lovely watching the night sky with all the stars. And maybe your fondest memories were simply having tea together in the living room or at the kitchen table, talking about the events of that day and making future plans. Those are the memories I want you to bring up now. Those are the memories that sustain you. When we are first grieving the death of a loved one, we concentrate so highly on how they died and when they died and the circumstances surrounding their death. We might be upset with people in our families who either did not attend the funeral or couldn't attend the funeral, and we don't understand why that was the case. Maybe deciding how to handle the funeral, which casket to choose from, how many days to view the body, and where the person would be buried were points of contention with you and your siblings because it was never decided by your parents before they died. It might have been left to you to decide what to do with their belongings, and not everyone in your family was happy with your decisions. And so you tend to think about the negative, the hurtful things, You tend to think about all the sadness that went along with not only how they died and where they died, but also all those decisions that needed to be made after the fact. Now, I'd like to believe that you are at peace with all of this at this point, but sometimes that's not the case, and you carry a bitterness and a resentment and maybe a regret that still hasn't been resolved. And if you've been listening to me for a while now, you will know that I am an advocate of the Emotional Freedom Technique, or EFT. So I will attach in the show notes videos that will help you resolve those feelings of bitterness and regret, anger, and other emotions, because your life and how you live it and the peace with which you have in your soul is so valuable and so very important to your own health. So after you've listened in to this episode, I'd like everyone who's listening to me now to do those exercises to please learn EFT tapping and use it on a regular basis so that you can get emotionally stronger. And if you currently are in a lot of emotional pain, which may be holding you back from grieving fully and moving forward, then you need EFT even more. I want you to remember that as you grieve, you may hold on to very difficult emotions, and at a particular time, you will know that it is time to release them because they do not serve you any longer. They can make you physically and emotionally ill. But one day, you will find that when you speak about your loved one who's died, a smile may come over your face instead of tears running down your cheek. And it is that exact moment that you realize that things have turned around for you. When you can have a good laugh when you think of a moment you shared with them, things are turning around. And it is at that time of remembrance that you should not feel guilty for feeling good, for laughing, or for thinking of the best. It is at this time that you can realize that you are starting to heal. No one, absolutely no one, should stay in a state of grief for the rest of their lives. It is totally unhealthy. And you might think that by coming out of your grieving process that you will forget them, but that will never ever happen. They will always live right in your heart. And yes, you can miss the person, of course. That is a given. They were a big part of your life, and your life has changed completely now without them by your side. You have to give yourself permission to move forward without them. You have to give them permission to be with their Creator, to let them be at peace with their next phase of life. And you might say, absolutely not. I want them with me forever. But that was not the plan. And you might be really angry that this was the plan because you don't want it this way. And the sad part about death is that we have absolutely no control over it. We will have no control over how they died, when they died, or where they died. And we will have no control over how, when, and where we ourselves die either. And that's a hard pill to swallow. So if we can consciously try to remember the better things about their life that you shared with them, if we're able to consciously remember the close relationship you shared with them, they will always be in your heart and in your mind. But the memory of them at some point in time will bring you joy instead of sorrow. And if you are at the beginning of your grieving process, this might sound like nonsense to you because you're in such acute pain. But as time moves forward, that pain will soften, and eventually you will find yourself actually smiling or laughing when you remember them. And that is an absolutely good thing. And when you do smile or laugh, when you think of them or talk about them, when the moment comes, I want you to celebrate it. I don't want you to take it back. I don't want you to feel badly because you're afraid. I want you to enjoy it and realize that you are moving through another phase of your process, a good phase of your process as you remember them. So this week, I want you to think about the wonderful memories you shared with them and write them down in your journal. And the next time you get together with family and friends, I want you to read them out loud and even share pictures of them. Share pictures of them for everyone to comment on and to relive. And if you had more sad times than good times with that person, well, do your best to highlight the good ones. If you find it brings more anger than wonderful memories, that is the perfect reason to use EFT to help stabilize and decrease your pain. Because it is so much better to release these difficult feelings than to have them bottled up inside you. It is not healthy to harbor these difficult emotions that we need to get rid of. So as you move forward this week, I'm sending you blessings and hugs and much love as you remember the good, even the not so good aspects of the relationship you had with the person who died. No relationship is perfect. At each encounter you had with them, something good, something bad, it's just part of your history now. And if it wasn't good, you need to release it through EFT. And if it was good, it belongs in the forefront of your memory and shared with those you love who are still with you. My love to you, my friend. So now it's time to get up and dance, dance, dance. And I know you're still thinking this is silly, but please do it for me anyway, okay? Thank you for listening in today. Remember to write 5 things each night in your journal that you are grateful for. Please subscribe, rate, and review my podcast wherever you've listened to me. Please share this podcast with 3 members of your family, friends, or your business colleagues who might be grieving this week. And as always, remember to be happy because you deserve to. I'll speak with you again soon.